Hi, my name is Tim. This video is part 2 of the paragraph options pane in Zoho Writer. The previous video was about the design tab. This video is about the layout tab. Layout tab allows you to set the line, paragraph, and character spacing, indentation, and line and page breaks, and tab stops in a Writer document. The sections of this video are accessing the layout tab, spacing, indent, line and page breaks. Layout tab also has a tabs section. This will be covered in a future video. You can watch this video from beginning to end. If you're watching on a computer through a web browser, you can click on one of the links to my right and jump to that section of the video. There will be a link throughout this video to return you to this point where you can choose another link. However, if you're watching through the YouTube app on a smartphone or tablet, you do not have this option. To access the tab, do the following. Click on the three bars in the top left-hand corner of the window. Make sure that the Format tab is selected. In the Format tab and under the Paragraph section, click the Borders and Shading button. This opens the Paragraph Options pane. Most likely the Design tab is selected, so click on the Layout tab. Now, let's look at the spacing section in the Layout tab. The spacing section has three text boxes and a drop-down box. Line spacing, char spacing or character spacing, spacing before paragraph, spacing after paragraph. The first thing you need to do before you can make any adjustments to paragraph is make sure your cursor is in the paragraph you want to change. I'm going to change the first paragraph here, and then let's talk about line spacing. Line spacing sets the spacing in between lines. The up and down arrow buttons change the spacing by 0.5. So I'll move it down to 1, then use the arrow button to go to 2. You can also double click on the number and type in the desired amount of spacing. Use your period on your keyboard for the decimal point. The text box accepts one number after the decimal point. Click the tab button to confirm the selection. As you can see, this spacing for this paragraph is at 3.6. The maximum amount of spacing the text box will accept is 10. And again, you can just simply press the tab button after you've typed in the desired number on your keyboard. Char spacing is the drop-down menu. It has several choices. However, the first thing you need to do is highlight the characters that you want to change the spacing on. I'll just do it with this first paragraph. And then you go over to the char spacing drop-down menu, and the choices are -2 through 20 points. And there's a normal choice. This is just the default spacing of the font you have chosen. So let's try some of these. Here's -2. Here's 1 point. Here's 8 points. And here's 20 points. So the spacing in between characters will affect the length of the paragraph. And I'll just move it back to normal. So you can use this if you think the normal spacing looks too tight, or it's also useful if you have multiple fonts inside of a paragraph. Spacing before a paragraph sets the amount of spacing before a paragraph in points. First thing you need to do is make sure your cursor is flashing in the paragraph you want to add spacing before. And then the up and down arrow buttons adjust the amount by 6 points per click. So right now it's at 0. Press the up button, 6 points, move up to 12, then the down button down to 6. And then the other way to adjust it is simply by typing in a new number. So I double click on 6 and PT, and let's make this 13 points. So I type in 13, press the tab button on my keyboard, and it adjusts the 13 points. You cannot enter a decimal point after the number. I'm pressing the period and it's not on my keyboard, and it's not allowing me to enter a decimal point. So it only accepts whole numbers. The smallest amount that can be entered is 0, and the largest amount is 72. I'm actually trying to type in 73 right now. It's not letting me type that. I'll press the 2 on the keyboard, 72, press tab, and it creates a large space. Spacing after paragraph is just like spacing before paragraph, except it puts the space after the paragraph. So we've selected the desired paragraph, and the up and down arrow buttons adjust it by 6 point. You can double click to type in a desired number. Put in 35 and press the tab button to confirm it. And like this one, you cannot enter a decimal point, and the minimum number is 0, and the maximum number, like space before paragraph, is 72. Let's look at the indent section now. In the indent section, you can adjust the indentation from the left and right margins by using the left and right indentation boxes. Click the up and down arrow buttons for each box, and you will adjust the amount by 0.125 inches per click. Or you can highlight the number in one of the text boxes and type a new number. And press the tab button on your keyboard to confirm the choice, and it will indent it. The range of the numbers of the lowest and highest number depends on the width of the document and what you have set the other number to. Such as, I can move this left document down into negative numbers, which puts it to the left of the margin, but it cannot go beyond the edge of the document, because that represents like a page width. I can increase the number greatly but cannot go any farther because the right margin is set at 0.25 inches. If I decrease that, it allows me to increase the left indentation. So I will go ahead and set this back to 0 for both of them and demonstrate first line hanging. So first we've got our cursor on our first paragraph, and we've got two choices here, first line and hanging. First line allows you to indent just the first line of the selected paragraph. So again, each click of the arrow is 0.25 inches per click, and this just indents the first line. And like the left and right boxes, you can type in a desired number. And that indents it even further. Move this back to 0. And we're going to click on hanging. Now hanging will indent these lines, but leave the first line as it was. So I will go ahead and start indenting all the other lines. As you can see, it's the 0.25 inches per click, and you can also enter in, you can click on the text box and enter in a desired number. Now let's move on to the line and page break section. There are three check boxes in the line and page break section. Enable widow orphan control, keep lines together, and page break before. First, put your cursor in the paragraph in which you want to apply one or more of these check boxes to. On the first one, enable widow orphan control makes it so one line of the paragraph will not be at the end of a page. This is called a widow. It also makes it so one line or a paragraph isn't by itself at the beginning of a page. This is called an orphan. As you can see here, this paragraph here is split over one page, so it has a widow and an orphan. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and it just simply puts the paragraph on the same page by moving it to the next page. A check and keep lines together will make it so a paragraph will not be split over two pages if the paragraph can fit on one page. So I have this somewhat long paragraph here, and it goes on to 2 pages, goes from this page to and spills over on the next page. So if I put a check and keep lines together, it puts it all on the next page. A check in the page break before checkbox moves the paragraph where the cursor is located to the next page. I have my cursor flashing in this paragraph is crass fussibus paragraph, and I will go ahead and put a check mark in this page break before, and it moves it to the second page. So now let's look at the tab section. Clicking the tabs button in the tab section opens a tab stop positions dialog. This will be covered in a future video. This video has been about the layout tab and the paragraph options pane and Zoho Writer. Thank you for watching. Click on the subscribe to OS College channel box and check out my other videos on YouTube.